Hello and welcome to another episode of The Mixed Bag. I'm Meg Adkins here with Matthew Galloway. Matthew, what's up? How are you?
Halloween week, Meg. Are we just get everything dialed and ready? My wife decided she had to go to a work trip to Dallas this week, so I'm like left alone trying to procure last minute I gotta make a pump. They do this show and tell, decorate a pumpkin thing for my daughter's school, so I've got to throw that together one of these nights.
Wow. That's fun.
Yeah.
My husband is also taking a trip to Dallas this week, so we can let them know and they can just enjoy their kid-free few days together.
Yeah.
So Friday night was supposed to be the trunk or treat at the school.
Oh yeah.
And as we've talked about, we've had kids down left and right. And my husband his flight was delayed back home. So I was going to have to do it solo. And I was like, this is just not. And my youngest was like still running like low grade fever and everything. And then my other son was like, Mom, my head hurts. And I was like, that's it. We're not going.
We're out.
Pulling the plug. We're out of here.
Throw up in someone's trunk while you're there.
It was like 55, like misty rain. I've never been so glad to have a kid say that they don't feel good, because
Yeah,
like, all right,
I need get me out of jail free card. I'll take it. Yeah, we're gone.
So I'm ready for Halloween because I haven't had the pre-Halloween. It's the pre-Halloween that gets me, and then I'm over it by actual Halloween. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we got some stuff on Thursday at school, so it's kind of some school stuff, and then the festivities Friday afternoon. At least it's on a Friday, so you can like just let it go Friday night.
Let it go.
We're gonna have usually a little bit of a neighbor get together post kids going to sleep, and then that's where it might get a little dangerous.
It's off the rails. We're gonna have a firm like, do not come out of your rooms until 8 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Yeah, lock them in there.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah.
Do you try to do that red light, green light thing, Meg?
No, they just have clocks, and like,
okay,
they're
a kid has a clock. She can't tell time though.
Before they, no, we never did that, but people swear by it. I mean, it works for some kids.
It works for us. My daughter's terrified of the green light or the red light.
Oh well, yeah. Enjoy that while it lasts. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had a big event this weekend, Meg, in Korea.
A lot of golf a lot of newsworthy golf for the end of October.
Yeah.
It was a fun one. Let's start. We'll start with the International Crown. Like quick notes on International Crown. Then we're gonna bring in. We actually talked with Beth and Nichols shortly after things wrapped up. She was on site in Korea. She had kind of just gotten back to the hotel off the shuttle. And so it was really great to hear from her like right after things had wrapped up. So we're going to run that as like part of our International Crown recap. We're going to hit on Yani Tseng for sure, getting in the winner's circle. And then we will preview Malaysia. No rest. We're off to Malaysia after the International Crown.
Asian swing,
so that's kind
swinging.
that's kind of the run of show. But late, I mean, it wasn't even late Saturday. It was early Sunday morning.
The wild thing is, though, like I went to a wedding Saturday night, and I didn't go for like a full I didn't go for a full run of it. Wasn't worse of the wear, but I just like happened to wake up to the sounds of something else happening from my wife. And happened to watch the finish live at like 3:00 in the morning. I was like, oh, I'll just watch the end of this.
You watched it live?
I watched it live.
That's amazing.
I thought that golf course was going to put me back to sleep, but it didn't.
I know.
Unfortunately, it didn't.
I did. Well, it's Friday night. I like conked out right while I was like, I'll stay up and watch these groups go off and everything. And then I was out. We'll get to the broadcast in the course and everything there. But in case you are unaware, even though it's been full 24 hours now, Australia has won the International Crown for the first time ever.
It's kind of crazy.
I know. That's what I was like. Wait a minute. It's this.
I guess they haven't had as strong of a deck as players as they have right now. This is probably the strongest depth of like Australian talent they've had. I mean, outside of like obviously Kari, but she wasn't playing in National Crown.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's a deep team. They take out the Americans let's just keep our stinky predictions going. We all said the Americans were limping in. We didn't expect much out of them, Matthew, and then, they turn up and just whoop everybody in the the pool play rounds. 4-0, only team to go, or what was it? 4-0 in the first 5-0-1 is what they
Yeah, they
eventually
tied
ended
one.
up. Yeah. So
Yeah, I woke up every
impressive.
morning and was very like, "Holy cow!"
Mhm.
Was not expecting that on my. It wasn't on my international crown bingo card. But hey, sometimes it's like the teams you don't expect
Yeah.
do something like that. But
Yeah. I think you could see that they were all kind of freed up from like being in a team format and playing with each other and stuff. And like the first 3 rounds they trailed like 5 of the 94 holes they played. So really
yeah,
just never were hardly down, dominated those first 3 days. They get to semis on Sunday in Korea. So it's the USA versus Japan and Australia versus the world team. USA again kind of made pretty quick work of the Japanese. Australians had their hands full with the world team. It looked like the world team was going to make it to the finals, and the first time they get allowed in, just going to make it all the way to the finals. And G came back, and then in that foursomes match of Grace Kim and Steph Kiriakou versus Lydia Ko and Wei Ling Shi, uh, the world team kind of let him back in. Grace Kim
hmm
makes a big birdie putt on 18 to tie it. They go to playoffs. Lydia Ko misses a short putt to kind of end it, and then goes way right off the tee on the
that was
20th
kind of
playoff
shocking.
hole. Yeah, it was really bad tee shot.
It kind of looked like things were off there. Like something's going. I don't. I
Yeah,
feel like I feel like she switching coaches. Did I read something about that?
I don't know. That would be. I don't
Or
know if
no,
I've.
I didn't. Maybe that's someone else. I'm getting
She
my head
might,
around someone
but
else.
she looks like she froze over that putt on the first playoff hole. It was like stood over it for a long
Yeah,
time, not moving. I was like, I don't know if it's nerves or something's off there. But anyways, Australia comes
international crown
back.
pressure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, first time playing in a team event in a long ever,
Yeah.
different.
Well, she probably played some kind of World Am thing.
Yeah. But Australia gets it done. They come back, so they're riding the momentum into the finals. And I thought that was interesting how they kind of mixed it up. They put Minji out first, who was playing the best player of the tournament, wins the
Yeah.
MVP. So they kind of went straight for the first point off the bat, and then they had Hannah second, and Hannah got it done. Her only point of the whole week comes as the clinching point. So I mean, that Sunday we'll get to more on like the format, but it was a long day. I think the USA kind of ran out of gas a little bit. Um, yeah, it's that. I don't know. Minji in singles is very, very tough, and then
They
Hannah
kept
kind
on
of showed.
trade. Like they were just like trading, but it was like birdie, like hole one, hole loss, hole one, hole loss, and then
Yeah,
it kind of there was this kind of Angel looked like she was like almost like passed out walking up those hills in 17 and 18.
it was a hilly course. It was a hilly course.
Yes.
I think a little bit running on fumes there for Team USA. So that is how the Australians come out on top. They got 2 points from singles. That's all they needed. The foursomes match did not matter. It was tight as well. And Australians are your 2025 International Crown champions. That's kind of like highlights. I think let's get straight to Beth Ann, and we'll get
Yeah.
her kind of thoughts from the ground, overall thoughts on this event and everything, and then we'll kind of finish up and tie up any loose ends after that. Sound good?
hmm
All right. Okay, here is Beth Ann Nichols. Okay, welcome to the mixed bag. We have a dispatch from Korea from Beth Ann Nichols, who's on the ground this week. Beth Ann, how you doing?
Fresh off the shuttle bus, just in time. No, it's been a marathon day for everyone. The players. I was talking. The American team was like, "Yeah, we got up at 5 o'clock, and they got off the golf course at 5 o'clock." So it was a nice double round 12-hour day in a little bit of drizzly rain. But Australia coming out on top. it's when as I sat down there, I was like looking at them all rolling in. I thought they'd be wearing their crowns, but they didn't wear their crowns into the press conference, which was kind of disappointing. But Minji Lee, thinking about to this inaugural crown in 2014, she was an amateur playing with Kari Webb, her mentor and idol,
Crazy.
and now here she is, the boss of Team Australia, and playing with some players who've looked up to her, so and continue to look up to her, and she's having a wonderful year, of course, with the long putter, and was undoubtedly the MVP on and off the course for Team Australia. Although several of their players had some really clutch moments throughout the competition to keep Australia in it, but I think definitely the mastermind, the auntie as they called her, was Minty.
Has she played every single one? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's the only player that's played in every
Yeah.
single one, which
So I thought I heard that at some point. I was trying to make sure that was correct.
impressive.
I figured
Yeah,
you would
it's-
know that.
it's like we've watched her grow up through the crowd.
Yeah.
Not really, but
Yeah.
It feels appropriate, though. I mean, we just like we drew it up and predicted. A Nelly Corda-less United States team makes it to the final. We all saw that coming, but we
Yeah.
did. I mean, we did kind of all. It's not unexpected to see Australia win the winners at the end. It feels appropriate that they finally get one of these. For this fifth go around of the crown. It's a connected, close team. And to your point, Beth Ann, it takes a full team effort. You're not going to get there with one hot player. You have to have everybody step up in some sort of way eventually throughout the course of this week. It took a while for Hannah Green to do it, but you saw Grace Kim kind of have a clutch putt, and then the extra holes match against the world team in the semis. It does kind of take a full team, and that speaks well to just the Australian group and their closeness, right?
yeah, they have great chemistry. They hang out throughout the year. The Golf Australia does a wonderful job of supporting the players and kind of building a natural team unity. They're all great to each other. I think in the format, when you get to Sunday and you're playing a combination of alternate shot and singles, there's nowhere to hide. So you've got to show up, and so yeah, and also looking at Grace Kim sitting there and thinking about the spectacular year that she's had, and for her to have a great moment to send it into overtime to get them to the finals seem fitting. It's just a really well-rounded, fun team. Lily Avu said, in her opinion, the two teams with the best team chemistry made it to the finals. That's how she saw it.
Huh? It's a good, yeah. You see the chemistry. I kind of saw that coming from the beginning, but then I didn't see the USA team chemistry coming together as way that it did this week. So it's kind of like one of the big surprises, I think, the week of how this USD team came together.
Absolutely, yeah. They genuinely were having a lot of fun.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is what should be about.
It clearly means a lot to Angel Yin. I think Matthew, we can talk a little bit about her kind of when we get into the nitty gritty, but I was so impressed by how she showed out this week. And then I want to kind of talk a little bit more like big picture with you. You've been on the ground all this whole week. You've been to these in the past. You've written and covered about the international crown since its inception, since Mike Wan created this. It was his brainchild, if you will. What's your you did just get off the shuttle bus, so probably a little bit too early to be asking what your overall grade of the week is, but just how does it compare to past crowns? I thought it was great we were back in Korea. What do you think of this week overall? And I'm excited to kind of see where this goes in the future. I think it's a little bit of a sleeping giant this whole week. There's so much more room to grow. But what's your kind of overall grade of the week, if you will?
Yeah, I think this week was a success. I think it's hard to compare to 2018 because 2018 was insane. It was so good. The weekend, the amount of fans that were out there. I felt like I was at a concert sometimes, just the level of excitement, the number of security guards that they had. I mean, it was, it was something, a sight to behold. I remember Arya Jutanagarn whipping out her cell phone on the first tee to take a video because she was, it was a wow, So this was a much smaller site to begin with, so the crowds were never going to be like they were in 2018. It didn't help that Korea bowed out early on Saturday. But, I think, overall, I mean, Hanwha is one of 4 board members for this club. It's a collection of conglomerates that built New Korea, and so that's why they were at this venue. So there were a number of things that you can only do so much with certain circumstances with Hanwha wanting the event here. And I think given all of those things, I thought it really ran smoothly. I thought they had a lot of really great touches. The Grammy award-winning DJ that mixed these songs. He was such a golf fan, such a golf nerd. It was so fun. For each country, everyone stayed at the Fairmont. The caddies had their own team room on the 7th floor that they could go to. The caddies were all staying at the Fairmont. It was, the players got a lot of great gifts. I mean, there were 32 player cars for every player had a car. For shuttles. It was. I just thought from a lot of little small details were really nice and really set this event apart as a special event, because ultimately this event isn't about the money, and it's an awful long way to go if you weren't going to plan on playing one more extra week in Asia. And so I think you want to incentivize players to want to keep coming back. The world team was a wonderful addition from the standpoint that I for a long time have underestimated how left out Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko truly felt, and how much they wanted this, and that's legit. So I don't know how many more we're going to see Lydia, but I think it's great that there's an avenue for them to play. Speaking of Angel Yin, I want to talk about Angel for a few minutes because I think she on the shuttle ride, a cat. All the shuttle cars for the players were electric. And a cat had crawled up into one of these cars, and so it was like taken out of the rotation. So Angel didn't have a ride to the course, so she got on the shuttle with the rest of us slumming it, and it was just a lot of fun to listen to her. This is beginning of the week, just riffing off about stuff, and she's, what do you think about the format, and we started talking about how she'd like to see it be more of a President's Cup style format, and she thinks it's a little complicated. So I go back to her at the end of the week today. And I'm like, well, now that, the full week's gone by, what do you think? She's like, I think this is Angel talking. She's like, yeah, I think it was a great way to showcase, the depth of international talent that we have on our tour, no question about it. But she still thinks it'd be more exciting and easier for fans to follow if it was 2 teams, simple, Asia versus, the rest of the world, excluding Europe. They have the Solheim Cup. And that would be something that would be easier to sell. So when I think about the totality of this event, I think the best 2 events have been, no question, the 2 events in Korea. And the LPGA is going to rotate this event between the U.S. and Asia. They're not going to just keep it over here in Asia. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to have to figure out a way, I think, to make this work in the U.S. to attract more people. And my gosh, today is just such a complicated thing. I mean, Sunday, 2 different formats in one session, double round day. Like, it's a lot for even golf nerds to figure out what's going on. I know I just talked a lot there, but those are my.
That's why you're here, Beth. That's why you're Beth Ann. To have you let it go, empty the notebook on us. Oh yeah, I mean, we had some questions for you. Kind of went through some of them before we even got to them. I was going to ask you what your grade was the addition of the world team, which I think a rounding success.
Yeah.
To me, it looked a little. It felt funny in the beginning. It kind of felt like the unattached Russian athletes at the Olympics at first to me, but it all came together. I think it ended up coming together. They actually saw the passion for the teams and the countries kind of develop through the event. It actually all showed up on Saturday, I think, quite brilliantly for the third round. Before it almost seems like in the past, that third day almost seems more pivotal than the actual final day. If you look at all the other versions of this event, I mean, even from the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. And Brooke, I will just interject there that Brooke said when I talked to her at the end today, she said, "I found a new partner for the Dow."
Yeah.
So, I thought that was great. That there really was some chemistry here, and they really enjoyed each other. And I think if there was a little bit of controversy, that it does kind of look like an all-star team, and that maybe that seems a little unfair. So I just have so many mixed feelings about this event because I loved having them there. Yes, it is forced. Yes, it does feel like an all-star team. So, but the alternative of not having them there, I don't want to do that. I like it this way.
No,
so
I like it. Yeah, it's interesting because we look at. I know you can't compare 2018 in Korea to this version of Korea's, but kind of what worked this year, what didn't. It's kind of. I'm interested to see what your opinions are because I kind of have my thoughts, but I also am kind of curious what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard when you have venues dictate a lot, and time of year dictates a lot. And there was a DP tour event going on, in Korea at the same time. That doesn't help when you're competing against the men for interest. I think, I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of successes this week. Overall, I felt like it was really smooth. I felt like it was the first time IMG has run this event. It's hard in Korea. I didn't realize the quick turnaround that they have here in that they can't really get in and start building things outside of like the big structures that you see on the ninth hole until Sunday. So they come in at 10 o'clock at night on Sunday, the week of the tournament, and they start building their tournament offices. And then today they're taking them all down. Everything has to be out by midnight tonight. So, I mean, it is an extraordinary turnaround. And so, I'm blown away by what they're able to do in a week's time. It's just like it pops up overnight, and so I think IMG did a great job this week. They don't have anything to do with the format or where it's played or anything like that. They're just ops, and so it really did run smoothly. And there were more fans out there today with no Korea than I thought there would be. There was more of it felt better, especially in the second session on the first tee. It felt much better. And I was unfortunate that because of time constraints, you had the consolation match going off on the 10th tee at the same time. So they had one person, with a sheet of paper and no microphone announcing, but you could hear everything going on the first tee. So it really was like wow, you've got like 100 people here watching you, and one of the VPs of communications announcing you. And then on the other side, it's it's legit. So that kind of stunk, but again, it's a constraint of having. I wish there was a way that Sunday didn't feel like a marathon, and I asked Lauren Coughlin about that. She's like, I wish maybe we could start the competition a day earlier. I don't know that that solves it, but it just feels like the Ryder Cup. You kind of feel like you get to Sunday and the Solheim Cup, and it's like, okay, everybody starts a little bit later. It's not as much of a mad rush. It's really easy to understand where everything stands and what has to happen. Yeah. And this is like the opposite.
How do you feel about this newer semifinal final match versus the Sunday single barrage that used to happen in the past? I'm kind of curious how you kind of come down to that landing spot.
Yeah, I think this is better. The players were confused about some of the last format pre-2023.
Right.
So, if the players are confused, then it's probably a good idea to change things. Yes, I think it's better. I still don't think it's great. So I kind of keep going back and forth. I don't know that I have the answer, but I'm kind of leaning toward blowing it all up and, and doing 2 teams.
Yeah, well, it's tough because like the President's Cup doesn't like it kind of lives in this kind of second hand fiddle, almost like International Crown has created its own thing. So I don't know if it's like following the President's Cup model works, but hey, I don't.
I know.
I wonder what Craig's thinking. I wonder what he saw this weekend. I wonder he's going to come up out of it thinking.
I asked him that question, and he said, he didn't tell me, what he'd like to do or what, but he gave me the, if we're not trying to figure out how we can innovate and make things better, for our fans and every aspect, then shame on us. So
Right.
I would be surprised if something wasn't different in 2027. I don't know what that is, but I definitely think he's not afraid to shake things up. If he can, come up with something that's better. What I will say is that when you sit in the gala on Tuesday night and you see the expense, I have no idea how much it costs, but a lot. When you just see the extravagance of what they do at these dinners to entertain, and then you think, okay, now what's the U.S. going to do in 2027 to make this feel like it's a big deal? And I think, that's the thing. They've got to figure out how to elevate this event where it feels like it's something special to U.S. fans and U.S. media, and like it's a must see event. And I think they have a really, really long way to go to achieve that in the U.S. side.
Right.
I mean, they gotta make it can't miss for everybody, including the players. And
Yeah.
that was still a miss this week too. I think they have to. This is so important to get right and make a big deal because it is so unique. I don't know if making it, cleaning up and simplifying Sunday to have it more like a Ryder Cup or President's Cup or Solheim Cup feel certainly would make it easier for fans. But I do think it's nice for the LPGA to have a truly unique tournament and event that you don't see anywhere else too. Just because it is such a different tour than the men's in terms of how global it is, and including figuring out how to get the world team there. I thought was I agree with you. I think I used the word convoluted in our newsletter on how they got there with this, but it does seem like we have positives like the world team, but we're still trying to figure out the format. And then there's no way to replicate time and history for this event. It is still in its infancy. This is just the 5th time, so there's no way to kind of snap your fingers and make it and build the history and have these rivalries. And it's tricky when the teams are kind of rotating in and out, and you don't have a Team England this week, if you will. You don't have a Spain hasn't been there in a little bit. So it's not an easy problem to solve, but I do think that if you're looking at your schedule and this is an LPGA owned event, this has kind of got to be number one or up there at least on undervalued, room to grow, room to improve, and a lot of opportunity out there for this event. So it's tricky. Like Craig said to you, Beth Ann, there's no simple answer, but I think you can't look at this event and think, yeah, we got it. This is spot on, right?
No, and I think when I think about an exhibition and what is the point of an exhibition, and for me, a big portion of it is to draw in new fans, draw in people, casual sports fans, people who typically don't watch, your league, and so that's why simplifying and making it so easy, I think has to be a priority, whatever that looks like. And I think that needs to be like job number one of how do we get people to be able to easily follow this and and pique their curiosity. And I think there needs to be more of a push to get more media involved, get more media interested in it. But it shouldn't be so hard to understand. So I think,
Mhm.
Like you can even. I remember watching the third round. It seemed like even the Koreans were sitting in the back of the green, like all confused, like trying to do the math of like what was going on with the result of even like this. It was
Yeah.
all everyone looked so confused of what was going on. I was like, if they
oh
can't
yeah.
figure it out,
I mean, in the like interview area, there's like 5 officials sitting in a circle trying to figure it out. They're all like all the hypotheticals, and I walked away to go interview an official from the fascinating conversation from a JLPGA rules official about, which is another conversation about Japan's dominance right now. But and then I come back and I'm like, what did I miss? And it was when Hyoju was finishing up, and it was like, well, basically everything. But it was. It's just crazy to me how, um, how complicated it is at the end of the
yeah,
day. So even now, so I don't know. I like the idea I love the fact that Sweden is excited to be together, and there are all these little micro
yeah,
stories that are fun of these players, but the micro stories don't bring people in. They don't work big picture. They're great for me when I'm in the weeds here, but it's not for your national sports writers.
yeah.
Mhm.
Did it fit? Like, was there a bigger presence internationally, like just from international media's perspective? There's a lot of like obviously those folks were there because it's Korea, but like I'm kind of curious what on the ground it felt like because like you're probably the only really person there from American media, I think, from that standpoint. I think, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was no one from Europe, no one from America. It was me. It was me, some Japanese media, and some Korean media, and that was it. So,
Wow.
I mean, it literally, it's like it wasn't even going on, from an American media standpoint. I mean, I know it's difficult being obviously on the other side of the world, and there are a lot of factors that go into this, but it does feel like this event really had almost started all over again in
Right.
2023, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. It's the fifth edition. When you think back mathematically all the way back, it's been over a
Hmm.
decade now since it started, but it doesn't feel that way.
No. Yeah.
Is Hanwha? How long are they signed on for? Do you know?
2031. So
Right.
Okay.
they've got a nice cushion there of commitment to I think to really try some things and
Right.
try to really they have a nice runway here to get something to stick, because it is a celebration of the global nature of the LPGA. That's what Mike Wan intended it to be, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if people aren't paying attention. But but I think you could maybe leave it this way and just keep it in Asia, but that's not what they want to do.
Right.
They
No.
want it to
Right.
come back and forth between the U.S. and of course it was supposed to go to England before COVID happened.
Hmm.
I
So
know. I know. I think
Oh,
if it comes back here in 2027, is that kind of what the thought is? Not trying to go to Europe in 2027, Beth Ann?
it's definitely coming to the U.S. in
Yeah.
2027.
I think
right.
one thing you can't have it this timeline over here. You got college football, you got it going up against the World Series. You
Yeah.
and this is an even trickier, I think, thing to solve for Craig. Not only what do you change format wise, but how do you make this work in the calendar? And the calendar just keeps coming up again and again in the schedule. And how do you optimize the schedule? And where do you put this? I know it can't be around this time in 2027 when it's over here, because it is just so buried in all the other stuff going on
Yeah.
in the sports world. Yeah.
Yeah. And no, totally. And you know, ideally it would be, at a time when people are already over on whatever side of the country it is doing something, and it's not a big deal for journalists, to tack it on, or players to, make that transition. So hopefully that's the case. I do think that having Lydia and Brooke enjoy it so much, is great for spreading the word. And Team USA had a great time. Same thing, great for spreading the word because these teams do change. So for folks who haven't experienced it before, to say, hey, our Fairmont experience was was top notch, and all those things matter to players, especially when they're not playing for a big purse.
Well, it matters so much. Some of them they don't show up, but yeah, maybe the working you back to Nelly that things were nice. I'm curious. What surprised you on the ground this week? Was there a player that had more emotions in the matches that you don't usually see from them? I'm kind of curious what your biggest surprises were of the week from like individual player wise, other than like the Lydias and the bigger stories of this week.
Yeah, I think it was just fun to listen to. I don't know if this is a surprise, but just to spend a little time with the team from Sweden and Ingrid, listen to her, kind of in a, oh shucks, I can't believe I'm on this team, kind of moment, and I think for a lot of players, this was. But Lauren Coughlin considered this to be, at the top of her list of what she wanted to accomplish this year. She was extremely excited to be in this event, and just to listen to that kind of passion is nice to hear.
Right.
Going back, this is the troops that came out to watch Team USA from Camp Casey was awesome. The way the players, I mean, they were there on the first tee when they were teeing off, and they were there when they finished. They were there walking the entire way, and as Angel said, they were troopers, no pun intended. But yeah, they had a great time with them, and then I walked out of the media center yesterday, and I saw this straight line of pink, and it was just on the range, one little girl after another, all wearing matching shirts, getting lessons at a clinic, and it was just the most adorable thing. And hours later, they're still there, and Angel came out once again, and I mean, I'm pointing this out because kudos to her, for going over there and hanging out with the kids. And that's the stuff that matters, that's what these events are all about. And she came back out, and she finished up her interview. She's like, all right, where are the kids? And off she went, that's the spirit of this event, taking selfies with the kids. It's great.
Yeah, it's just how she was kind of always gravitated toward the kids. I always appreciated that about her spirit. You also got some good beauty. I enjoyed the story of Charlie Hull. How was that experience going shopping for beauty products at Charlie Hull?
That was a trip.
I love that. That had to have been one of the more highly entertaining evenings you've had in a while, Beth Ann. For those who haven't, this just came out. I mean, the time, I don't even know what time it is right now, but Beth Ann got to spend some time checking out Korean beauty with the one and only Charlie Hull. So yes, I was going to bring that up, Matthew. I'm so glad you did. Talk us through how that went.
Oh, it was hilarious. She, I thought it was a great just kind of insight into how her brain works. Like when you read the story, I hope that the pace of the story and the way she kind of jumps around, that's Charlie. And it's just so beautiful because she's so passionate about her health in general, smoking aside, of course. But she the skincare here, that's what everybody's talking about. That's what Korea is known for. Their players are all making multiple trips down to this Olive Young store, and she. It was just interesting to listen to her talk about the fact that, her mom wouldn't let her drink a fizzy drink until age 12. She wasn't eating sweets. Everything was was really healthy. And she's like, and I so appreciate that now, because as an adult, I don't crave that food. And she takes what she puts in her mouth, and what she drinks really, really seriously. And a lot of it's, she doesn't wear a lot of makeup. She wants that natural glow, and so it's just fun to listen to. She only plays 2 weeks in a row, then she goes home. She doesn't like to be away from home for very long. First thing she does when she lands is she gets a facial. Then she goes out, she plays golf with her buddies, and that's Charlie. And
Yep.
she's taking it all, what she's passionate about, very seriously, but at the same time, it's just kind of on to the next thing, and that's just kind of the way she talks. And at the very end of the interview, we'd come back from the mall, and we're sitting down in the lobby, and I said, so Charlie, what's the most you've ever spent? Because I asked her if she'd splurged on anything, since her big win, and she got a special license plate, which I didn't even understand what it was. That somebody had to translate for me what she put on her license plate. You big dosser, which I was like, what is that? But then I was like, so what have you bought? And she's like, well, the most I've ever spent, I spent $100,000 in an hour. After she won the event in Texas, she bought a Chanel purse and 2 Rolex watches.
Wow.
All for her.
Charlie.
And it was just fabulous. And she bought this Chanel handbag after she won the Kroger, to go with this Chanel outfit that she had bought that she'd never worn before, but she was going to wear the whole look to a baby shower. And she posted this. As soon as she said it, I knew exactly what it was, because she posted it on Instagram. And she looks like a Barbie doll, this ensemble. But it's just so fun to listen to her. I don't know. It was nice to do something away from the golf course, and
Right.
and she was just so passionate. It was brilliant.
It's the importance of being on site. You never catch someone going down the elevator and end up going shopping with Charlie Hull. You never know what's going to happen whether you're there.
Protects Charlie at all costs. I mean, she is.
And I thought I was fascinated by the fact that she doesn't bring a big suitcase. She travels with a carry-on suitcase.
Unbelievable.
And then she stuffs the rest in her golf travel bag. She said, I've got to be the lightest packer on tour. And I was fascinated by that. I know these are really small things, but when you're road warriors, it's like, oh my gosh, how do you do that?
Oh no, I've seen how many bags, when the Wies were loading up the car. I've seen how many bags go in that SUV.
The other side of it, Matthew.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's a great, find some time to read through it, because it is, even though it's written word, Charlie still jumps off the page at you,
right,
in just the stream of consciousness that's coming out of her about beauty care, skincare, and all the beauty products and what she does. And she's kind of an expert. She's throwing out some pretty long words and some scientific stuff too.
I have to Google stuff.
She knows what she's talking about. Yeah.
I know.
Oh man, it's so good, so good. Beth Ann, thank you. I think very good job of kind of putting what just wrapped up into context. I think we are probably all in agreement. A very, very good week. Room to improve. Room to make it even better. And your experience covering this from the beginning, your experience on the ground. So glad that you're able to hop on and get it from you, because there's because of the starts and stops of this event, it's hard to kind of put it into context of where this stands and where we go from here. And you're very the person to do that with your experience and being there on the ground this week. So onward we go with the International Crown. We'll be anticipating just what changes and what improves for 2027, I think.
Right.
So yeah.
The good news is it's definitely moving in the right direction from 2023. I mean, it's
correct.
Right.
So hopefully it keeps that trend.
Gotta keep going forward. We can't do 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Got to be all in one direction, please.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you both for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming right off the shuttle bus. We appreciate the time. I know it's a hectic week.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always appreciate hearing from you and having you come on. So thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. You guys
All
have a
right. We'll
good
talk soon, Beth Ann.
day.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, Matthew, we're back. Great stuff from Beth Ann.
Yeah.
I think
Glad she was over there.
Yeah, you just get more from somebody on the ground over there. And like we kind of said, nobody's been around women's golf for longer and more in the weeds with it than Beth Ann. So I think her thoughts on this event and where it is and where it can go were important to get. So let's clean up, let's tie up kind of.
Because if she was watching the TV product, it would have been a whole different discussion of what she probably even saw.
Yeah. You want to go right there? You want to go to?
No, let's get some of the. There's some golf stuff we should discuss first before we.
Let's maybe do like some winners or our own MVPs. I thought I'm gonna go with Yelimi first. She just kind of made the most of her chance getting on the team with Nelly not playing. And she and Angel were really fun to watch and play. I think play together. I think if you're Angela Stanford, you would have loved to have Nelly there and like get her more match play reps and get her with Yelimi. And because I think if Yelimi keeps things up, she's got a very good chance to be over in Amsterdam next year.
Right.
I think like her playing with Angel too and four balls, like Angel, if we think going back to like Solheim last year, that she leaving her off the team was kind of my one question mark from Stacey Lewis and her captaincy, because Angel makes a boatload of birdies, especially in four balls. She's freed up, she's more aggressive, and like you just saw it, like they can just totally wipe the floor with teams when Angel gets going like that. And I think after seeing this, if you're Angel Stanford, like Angel's got to be up there as an option for the team next year. I know she's high and low, hot and cold, but like nobody can get hotter.
I mean, Yelimi or Angel? I think Angel's basically at this point looking at points, like she's second on U.S. points. Like unless
she's
barring
highest rank she's been in a while. So
yeah, I think it's almost like a semi. Like these first couple of spots are locks. She's like a couple points shy of like Nelly on the list. So it's not like it's. But you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, I think the Solheim deal with Stacey was more of like a lingering health issue with Angel, is what I understand. I think there was a little question of how much she can go, but like I've seen it. I've seen her in four ball. It's on Solheim Cup. It's absolutely insane. She'll just go bananas. So
she's a weapon.
I mean, for sure. When she's on, the thing is like this recent play. I think my whole thing, looking at the whole realm of the tournament of like how we do the qualifications and when we do the cutoffs and like how we determine who's on these teams, kind of is a little antiquated. I think almost.
Yeah.
And then and just seeing recent play, like she shot 1 million in China. Like no one was really. Yelimi was the only player coming into form that's playing for the team that wasn't even supposed to be there in the beginning, but who knows? So yeah, I was kind of just shocked by all those players for him. Even Lilia stepped up and played good golf. Like
Lilia
we hadn't seen her.
Yeah, they both found something.
I think Lauren could even admittedly say she was probably not playing her best golf before this week too. So hopefully they all can find something in their games and go forward for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
but
I think
it was a pleasant surprise and a good thing for all these players. I think
it was a good surprise, pleasantly surprised by how they showed up and played. If you're Angela, you kind of,
the vibes were there. I think it's crazy. You can do all this data stuff, and if you don't have the right vibe between pairings and groups, and you have a four player cohesive group that all likes each other and has fun, all the two most cohesive teams end up in the finals.
Very good point. Very good point.
The Aussies have a great time hanging out together. They all kind of like thrive on that environment. I mean, Kari told us about it. We had it on our show. And we've been talking about it all year. So it's kind of been and we kind of even said in the preview, it's like, I think the Aussies are kind of a team to watch. I wouldn't call that a definitive quote unquote pick to win, but
hey, we're going to take our wins when it comes to predictions where we can get them.
Hey, I did say I wanted to see Korea and Japan play each other. I just didn't want to see it matter that much on a Saturday, but
that was,
or
that
third
was
round.
Tense. That was,
that was,
I mean, talk about it meaning something to the Koreans.
It's funny. The first couple days I watched it, it was kind of like there was a lack of like you've turned on the first day and there's like kind of this lack of emotion. You're kind of just going through the motions. The matches don't seem to mean that much, but that's like that third day you can see it really actually step up, and there's some dramatic stuff going on, and it means something to the players. Literally, the Korean players were all crying.
Yeah.
Losing their match. I mean, they're playing in their home country. There's a lot of pressure. Like the Koreans are tough naturally as a people. So like they don't want to disappoint their fans. It's like they're upset. Like they were like Jin Young Ko was like legitimately bawling off. Like they're all just consoling each other. They all put their sunglasses on. It's kind of like it was. I wouldn't want to be like Hooju Kim missed that putt, and you're like, gosh, I wouldn't want to be her.
I know. Yeah, and hey, Ryan, you didn't even do media after the like. In the transcripts, it's just Jin Young Ko, and they were bringing in the teams to talk, and Heyran wasn't even there. That was tense.
That was kind of like the bigger day. It's kind of like this has come down in recent years. Like the bigger day is almost the third round getting into the final.
Yeah,
the final team qualification. So it's kind of like not saying the format's bad, but this is kind of this weird timing that almost the third day is better than the final day.
It's you. Yeah, someone's going to be left out. Someone's going to be the lose. Someone's going to be the loser, and it was Korea, unfortunately. I thought it would have been wild if it flipped and Japan wasn't there though either, with how strong they've been.
Yeah.
They didn't really have much at all until that third day. I was pretty surprised by, not really coming in and coming in strong or starting off strong. I felt for Jin Young and Hooju, and I mean, I can't imagine, like, you don't get to play over there very often. Last time they were over there for this, they won, and it's outside Seoul. Like, Hooju's not too far from there, and it's. I mean, I think Hooju like has played a ton at New Korea Country Club, so brutal for them to not make it to the weekend, and took some air out of the sails for the whole event too, right?
Right. It seems like Beth Ann said there are still people there. It seems like there's a couple of things that were crossed up in the whole like when we had this event and the time we had it. And then I was kind of thinking, oh, it's great. You're already in Asia. You get the players that are already playing in Asia. They can kind of shuffle over to the international crown. And it's a kind of a good idea to have it. But who missed this? Like who at IMG who running this event missed the whole bucket that there's a DP World event in Korea 2 hours away?
Yeah.
We're like,
let's
talk.
Let's like pick up the phone.
Everybody there.
Yeah. That was super, super unfortunate.
This is the first year IMG's ran this event. It's kind of like, they kind of just took all the wind out of it. I'm not going to bash IMG again. I'm not going to do it, but here I am.
But should have been a big deal, and all the attention on New Korea Country Club, and it just was unfortunate it wasn't. So I think my other like big winner was how immediate this success of the world team was. I mean, I'm almost my kind of 2 cents afterwards is like, man, what took us so long to get them involved? It meant something to Lydia and Brooke. Like they talked before about, having a negative feel around these team events just because you're left out. And It was finally so nice to be included. Like they finally got invited to the big party. And they like, I was kind of nervous too about like how into it Charlie would be. Like pairing up her with Lydia first day, she was in it. She was like pumped up to be there. And even having to play the consolation prize, she's posted about how it was good to end on a high note. Like for kind of coming from all corners of the world, they gelled and almost made it to the finals.
Yeah, Charlie had some interesting quotes about Lydia saying kind of like she enjoyed it because she like Lydia was just chill. Like I appreciate this out of Charlie. She doesn't want you out there cheerleading her on. She's like, I don't want this rah stuff. Kind of like just goes on with her business. And I guess that's what got them along so well, which is good. It's funny. It seemed like there was a little bit of consternation people thinking the world team was like this unfair fight almost of like the super team. And I didn't have that impression, thinking of like, maybe I just looked at Wei Ling kind of being like this, the way they kind of put the team together, these different regions, they structured it almost from being too super teamish. You had to pull someone from a region that wasn't super high
Yeah.
ranked, and Wei Ling
Yep.
Shi was that, but she
Yep.
played like really darn good.
She played really
So
good.
yeah, so hats off to her. But it didn't feel like this giant super team. I almost feel like, obviously the Koreans and Japanese on paper, and even the Americans, just based on world ranking, were like far superior. And yeah,
I know. Yeah. I don't, maybe that will come to fruition in future international crowns, because I don't think this is going away anytime soon. I think will be a part of the fabric of this event from here on out, just with how well received it was. But it meant something to Lydia. She was super upset about how she kind of gave away the semifinal match with the missed putt and the errant tee shot. And yeah, I mean, 2 thumbs up from me for figuring out how to get them there.
yeah.
And it took a little bit longer than it should have, but it's here and it's not going anywhere.
It seems like, what do we have left to talk about? You have the format, like where's the format of this thing, and then thinking of just the infancy of this event, right? And I think there's an ability of saying, like, we don't have this figured out yet. There's no like historical context here. Like, we can change this as we go to make this thing better. And I think they're kind of slowly doing that. Like even Beth Ann said, like there's been this big disruption because of COVID, and I feel like they kind of almost had to restart the event. It's almost like it didn't happen before.
Yeah. It had.
And so
it's there's no, I kind of wrote a little, touched on that a little bit in the newsletter, but like you can't replicate time, and you can't replicate, letting it mature. You can't rush that. There's no way to speed that up. But I do think that the willingness to like add the world team, tweak the format, like you got to kind of figure out what's going to make this click, because there's so much potential for this event to get really big. Yeah.
I think, and so the format thing to me, I was always thinking about this with this world team of like, I know they have to like, promote the event and develop the teams and put the branding around it, and then, order the outfits, blah, 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 the bags, yada, yada, yada. But it seems like just solidifying all this so early. I know it's kind of fun having like the cutoffs at certain times, and what you're playing for, and there's a pressure for it. But like the field would have been so different. Imagine if there was no China. You had a Team England with like Lottie, who else would have been on that team? It would have been
Lottie, Charlie.
Would like, like a Mimi Rhodes, and those folks get invited?
Yeah, maybe. I thought one that was interesting was Andrea Lee. Like if it was a little bit later, would have snuck in ahead of Lilia.
Right.
And it's, I think I didn't look at Japan, but like maybe one of the EYs would have gotten in too.
To Japan, you could have subbed in with 7 other people and have been the same strength of like how good they are.
Yeah, it's the tricky part of like you have to cut it off at some point to kind of do all the logistical administrative things behind the scenes. But I don't know.
I wonder if there's a way to create a point system to reward international crown points based on like a more recent result situation from LPGA, because it's all based off world ranking.
Yeah.
Currently, they pick the teams based off of the world rankings. So the world ranking kind of lags behind.
Yes, it does.
On identifying where their players are at. Because I even remember like in 2018 when Michelle got on the team, like she was like half hurt, and it was all based off world ranking. She won early in the year, so kind of like that was the only reason we got on. But it seems like there's like a delay, and like this is a lot of rewards from last season play. Like even like LC kind of hasn't been playing great this year.
Yeah,
but her world ranking is so strong still from the wins last year.
Correct. Same. Yeah, I think. Look for potential adjustments there to kind of maximize the people who are hot and have played well this calendar year. Give them a bit of an advantage. I think the format of the actual event, as Beth Ann hit on, Sunday. I love high stakes foursomes like in the knockout round. I think
36 holes on Sunday seems like too much.
Yeah. It's certainly like we can touch on if it should be teams of 4, or if it should be like the President's Cup where it's United States versus the world except Europe. I think like if you go back,
that'd be an unfair fight. Sorry, it wouldn't be a fair fight.
I know.
Be a fair fight.
I know. I think though, if when Solheim Cup came about and it matched very similarly the Ryder Cup, I think that's a very good reason why it kind of became a big deal immediately, because there was that one-to-one, people, fans of golf who maybe didn't know, the women that were playing in the Solheim Cup knew that it was the Ryder Cup for the women. In International Crown, you kind of have that education. There's more of an education and what is this and how does this work conversation that you have to have because of the format. Um, Certainly it's more attractive to say, like, what's going to get more people's attention? It's the US versus the world, or it's the International Crown, it's 8 teams of 4. You know what I mean? Like, if to Beth Ann's point of like drawing people in and making it easy to digest and get into, there's that. But I don't know.
But does the
I don't know if
President's
that's
Cup
the
really get that much
solution.
attention? Does anyone really care about the President's Cup?
I
Sorry,
know.
I hate to say
I
it.
know. Yeah. I know. I there has to be, because of the global nature of the tour, there has to be something for
Yeah.
these players. But it's just, we gotta, a dash of this, a pinch of that. Like, we gotta find the right recipe to make it click.
Well, it's Craig's got to get in the kitchen and cook a little bit. I think
Yeah.
he's a brainy guy. I think he was there on site. It looked like he made his first trek over there. The Korea. I wonder if he had any interesting experiences with any faux pas or anything with some business leaders or something. We'll have to ask him when we run into him.
Yeah.
It's so yeah. He saw him there celebrating Grace, making that putt to push it to the playoff. It was cool to see him there and kind of involved in the formalities of everything. But what else were you talk about? Oh, Meg, these uniforms were not good.
They were so bad.
Did we get you one of those ombre polos?
No, those are hideous. Those are hideous.
I got to say though, they're better than that JDX stuff that we had that 1 year.
Yeah. What were they? That like a new brand?
It's a new, yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
a new.
Yeah.
Like,
They were
tough.
tough.
Like Under Armour stuff.
The hats didn't fit people's head. Like
Yeah, none of it ever fits.
You're kind of like off the rack. Yeah.
You can't.
The
You gotta have all this stuff. Yeah, you want to see a bunch of fighting between ladies in a team event? Just put them in the fitting room on uniform day for like Solheim Cup or one of these events, and it's just like trying to get Angel Yin and like you let me know to wear the same things. Impossible, because poor Angel. If you want to talk about having her, she always gets stuck having to wear some kind of skirt because she wears pants every single day she plays.
She always wears pants. Yeah.
The widest legs on the planet, and it's just like. I feel bad for her. You're like, she's like, I can't do this.
Oh, it's tough. I don't envy the people putting it all together, but you can't have like what they rolled out. It was tough.
Yeah, at least it kind of felt like Olympic-y. Like it almost felt a little just kind of stale. Like it was so stale and like bland. It just felt like the Olympics away. That's why I had the thought of like watching the world team. It's like I feel like they were watching the unattached Russians.
I know. I love that. It's spot on. I wanted, like, broadcast wise, I did like the trio of Grant and Beanie, and
that might have been the only good thing about it.
Yeah, they played off each other really well. I think
they had them stuck in a little trailer box.
I know, but like it's 3 unique voices, and I thought they did a very good job. So they're kind of handcuffed. Like the feed that they get is the JTBC like Korean feed. And man, they showed like every single Korean shot those first 3 days. It was like you weren't getting much from anybody else in the field. There were like shaky transitions. They missed shots, and it would like cut to the ball landing, and you weren't quite sure who hit it. Like it was tough. Tough those first. I think they got better throughout the week, but like there's really not much that like Grant and Beanie and Sophie can do. Like the feed is the feed. But I think it's just like the last time we talked about JTBC was in the first couple episodes of this podcast when we were talking about the Fur Hills Sayuri Pak Championship being canceled because JTBC didn't pay their bills. Didn't pay their bills. The LPGA is in an active suit against JTBC for those unpaid bills. So I don't know, kind of a little awkward. Like, you have
that's
to.
why they couldn't
You have to
find a
show the
graphics
international
producer.
crown, but like JTBC is your like you got to work together for 1 week, I guess.
Yeah. I will
Uh,
say whoever that graphics producer is that's trying to do some cool thing with the scorecard with the triangles, out. Get that out of here.
it was like
I had to
hieroglyphics.
literally pause and like look at it and be like, who did what? What's like what color is what? Is that a up? Is that a down?
I just watched it. I just checked for the points on the LPGA website. It was so unclear. Bad
Yeah.
graphics. Bad.
Hey, I
graphics.
do gotta say, I found that website, the KLPGA, like Korean International Crown website had like shot tracer on it. It had like a the shot plots on it.
Uh-huh.
You had to read a little Korean, but they had like you could follow the shots on it, so that was nice.
Probably were able to track more than on the website for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Kind of like final thoughts on this, Matthew?
The golf course stunk. I got to
Yeah.
say it. New Korea Golf Club. I get like some the guy on Onwa, whatever.
Yeah.
Some chairman owns a golf course, part owner. But you know what? You got to get that stuff out of there. Like I think the venue, it just shows you, and this is like obviously kind of the fried egg ethos almost. Like the venues matter in some of these things.
Yeah.
And if I can't get excited about watching a golf course, I turn it on and every hole looks the same. Greens are like on the side of a hill. I mean, you saw some breaking putts. Fairways looked like they were like 3 inches long.
Yeah.
It just kind of didn't have any gravitas to the event. It's kind of like, yeah, we're having this event. I don't know if it's just like it's because IMG is operating it. They just like because we've already played here for our Aramco thing, and we probably ran this event. We have a relationship. We're just going to throw it here. It's just it didn't even feel like a good spectator situation.
No, horrible. I mean,
you didn't see anyone out there. A difficult walk. The fans just kind of gave up and just went to 9 or 18. I didn't.
Every hole seemed separate. There were no like spots to gather and see multiple shots. I mean, I watched a ton of this. I would struggle recalling more than
I couldn't tell you a hole other than
spot.
that 18th green that looked like it was on the side of a mountain.
Yeah, brutal. And to the point of like, hey, this is in its infancy. We cannot you cannot snap your fingers and have 20 years of history and memories and rivalries. Like that just can't happen. But you know it would go a long way to get people excited about this immediately is putting it on some cool courses.
And 2018, we had it at Jack Nichols Golf Club. I had the President's Cup, great golf course, great venues, wide open. You had people everywhere. Like you could like it would feel like this new place, New Korea, not very new, looked very old. Like was this in the forest? Like every hole's in a forest, and you're just like doing a hike in the woods.
Bad.
A couple of guys said it was like the hilliest golf course they ever walked.
Bad. Yeah. I think like to Beth Ann's point, it's for sure going to be here in the United States next time in 2027. This is an extremely attractive tournament for a high level course, like a really good course. You have 32 players, so limited field. Like you got everybody there. If they keep the world team, you'll have almost all the top players there. Like you don't have to host it every single year. It's a great opportunity, I think, to talk to some of these classic courses that the men can't play, a big time name, and get some momentum that way through going to a cool course. That's a way I think to that they should be looking at to bring more attention to this.
You know what I think a real possibility is, and I think it'd be cool to see it there. We go back to San Francisco, but we're going to skip Harding Park. And we go back to where the LPGA used to play, Lake Merced.
Yeah.
That's been properly renovated and looks awesome.
Be sweet.
Yeah. I'm just saying, be pretty cool.
Yeah. Where it lands in 2027 on the calendar is going to, I mean, if you put it this time of year, it's set up to fail. You got to get it in the right spot, and you got to get it at an attractive course.
Because they always kind of played it in the summertime during on the U.S. side, but we'll see what this next run around.
We'll see. I kind of walk away from the week like it was very cool to see Lydia and Brooke. Like I love team match play. You see people. You saw like fist pumps from Minji and hugs from Minji that you didn't see when she won in Frisco.
Yeah, like she jumped on somebody when they wanted.
Yeah. You see bigger emotions. People. It's just. you got to have some variety, and this is a great way to add some variety to the calendar. But I think we're just, not even scratching the potential of this thing yet.
Oh yeah, I think there's the basics of this are good. It just needs to kind of get just chiseled away and cleaned up through the next iterations.
Yep. So until 2027. But congrats again. Australia gets it done.
Yeah, good on them.
They'll be defending.
And the thing we didn't even say, I think you got like double the purse.
The purse is as stinky as the course.
Yeah.
I mean, like pocket
Or
change.
like, do you gotta like one of the last place teams not need to get paid? I don't know. How does that work?
No. And Beth Ann brought up, like the cars, the gala, all that stuff. But it's almost like, I think if you ask the players, you'd be like, you don't need to give
Show
me
me the
caviar
money.
at the gala. Give me another 25 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got
that's-
it. Hanwha's got to step up that purse big time.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
Save on the caviar, give the players some cash.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to get to Yani Tseng and other kind of notes from the week and everything, but let's get to our partner this week. It is Away. New partner here,
Yeah.
Matthew.
Fancy.
Away is luggage leader. Awaytravel.com/Friday. I'm going to get that done at the top here. You can get 10% off your first order at Away. I got my Away carry-on just in time for traveling to, oh gosh, wait, where did I go? Well, I went to Big Cedar and I used my Away luggage. And then
Is
I
this
went
your
to
first one?
Chicago for our Skokie event. So I've used the Away luggage on plane and on the road, and it's fantastic. It's so great. I was like, immediately when I switched it out, I was like, oh, okay, this thing's different. It's just the materials, the quality. It doesn't feel flimsy. The wheels are incredible, like sturdy and substantial, but easy for me to get into the overhead. I mean, I never check. And so I usually pack that thing. I'm right under like 49.8. And so
You're an expert.
it's a breeze. It's a breeze to use. I love my Away luggage, my carry-on.
It's hold up. Like my
Yeah.
wife's had ones. Like we had ones in like the infancy. Like we were like early adopters of Away when they started like in like 2016 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
my wife still has one, and it's like it's haggard. It's been through its paces, but you know what? Thing just works. Just gets a job done. It's a great shell. Pack it. Not going to fall apart on you. Good luggage.
And like, traveling's a pain in the butt. It stinks. It's like a guaranteed delay, especially lately with all the shutdowns and no one's working and you don't know what you're going to get. Like, make something easier with your travel day. Away is the way to go to make sure your luggage is going to hold up. You're not going to have any issues with that. Like, you got to like get your wins and make things easier where you can when you're traveling, and Away does that for you. So super excited to have Away as our partner. Big time fan here. I don't think I will ever go back. Like once you get an Away bag, you're not going back to any other guys. So once again, you can shop. They've got stores, kind of way more stores. And if you want, be old school, go into brick and mortar if there's one near you, or online, awaytravel.com/Friday. Check it out. Take advantage of 10% off your first order. And thanks to everyone at Away. Okay. Let's give Yani, let's talk Yani. Let's give her her praise, because man, she deserves it. I don't care that it was 36 holes. I'm just going to get that out of the way right now.
You're going to give her official win? You're not going to give her I don't know.
I'm not living in an
36 holes.
asterisk world. I'm not doing it for Yani. I for what she's been through, it's a win. It's a W in the record books. We'll take it.
It's funny. It's kind of wild. She won this event at Sunrise, which is where the original LPGA Taiwan Championship used to be. Yeah. She won it back in 2011 at the same golf course. This is like how long it's been since. Because I remember this. I haven't been to this place, but I've heard some lore. There's like one hole. It's like a downhill par 5. It's like tight. And it's usually like this crosswind. It's like blowing 20 or 30. It's like there's been some girls that have gone on this hole. This had this like tin cup it like this in the woods every single time.
No.
It's like you can't get off the tee on this one hole. Um,
Uh,
and even like
I
the weather stuff, because we used to have that shout out Swinging Skirts LPGA
oh my
Championship
God.
over there. And it's always the same time of year in Taiwan. And it's just like monsoon season over there. I remember
They
this is the
got
first
so
time
much rain.
I ever saw like the full, we used to call it the bag condoms. The giant zipper like bag covers that would go around the
Trash
whole
bag for
golf
the
bag.
entire bag.
No, it's like this plastic, like you have the rain covers, but then you have like the whole bag zipper cover, like this
I don't know if I've
plastic.
ever seen those.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw them. We used to call them the bag condoms.
Yeah, well, that's kind of accurate.
Gosh, but it was just like you just got every year we would go to Taiwan, I would like leave a pair of shoes because I would just get so soaked, and they're
It's
just
like
staying
you're not
there.
even. They're just done. They're ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So flashbacks, PTSD.
I mean, in front of her parents, in front of like
yeah.
tons of family and friends. I just, I put it in the wrote a quick kind of section in the newsletter about it, but like her sticking with golf for this long and not like retiring, not like putting the clubs away is incredible, but absolutely insane for her to like stick with it for
that's
this
off to
long.
her. It's a very uphill battle. She was definitely in the woods trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, 4,000, whatever, 300 some days since the last win. Like, I don't know. I think Yani, for how easy it came, like the ego was certainly there. You kind of talked about that a little bit, Matthew, like in her heyday, like she was strutting around.
Yeah.
She was the person, and no one has been brought down to earth more so than Yani Tseng.
Golf humbles you. Golf humbles you so quick.
Yep.
And
hey,
awesome
the yips and the hip surgeries and everything, and to come out of it and to get to do it in front of your family, it's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I wish it would have been a full, like they got the full boat of it. Like it seemed like she was just kind of cruising, like just went bananas that first round and then kept it going. So it's good for her. So I'm curious how much she's gonna. I wonder what her goals are going forward. Is she trying to get back into like full-time golf? I'm kind of curious to see.
She'll have her LET status. So
yeah,
I don't
see her schlepping like around the LET tour though. You know, like why?
I know.
Why?
I don't. Well, why'd she stick with it for this long?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, you just kind of love golf.
Yeah. So maybe
competing.
she will kind of just play the full LET circuit. I was trying to like figure out a comp on like the men's side or other players to have like been that high and get that low. And
it has not been like those guys, they get that high and they get that low, they just like go away. It's almost like
go away. Yeah.
It'd be like Dustin Johnson coming back or something. But Dustin Johnson hasn't been that far off, but he doesn't like care about
the
golf
age
anymore.
for the success had me thinking of Spieth and like 3 quick majors and has been in the woods too, but like not nearly as in the woods as Yani.
He wasn't as like, it'd be like a level of equivalency of like Scotty Scheffler.
I know.
Going into the woods and coming back.
Correct.
That's how good she was. Like to
I know.
put it in perspective, like not just a guy, Jordan Spieth. Shout out merch hats.
There's no real comp. I really don't think there is a comp.
It'd be like that kind of level of equivalent of a player going away and then coming back to it.
Yeah.
Which like it's kind of it had the like the ego and then to say I'm just gonna go putt left-handed.
I know.
And then to really go through it and learning how to do that and then getting kind of good at it.
Yeah. She said in Erin Hill's like one of the best lines of that whole week was she was talking about how after her hip surgery, she's like, could you not have done like surgery on my brain for like the yips and the mental stuff? Just like,
I thought it was just gonna go away.
Even if your hip's good, but you still are a mess in the head.
Yeah.
I just got to be one of the cooler golf stories kind of ever, and did not expect for.
It's almost like it got more run than
I know.
National Crown did.
I did not expect for the LET to kind of outshine International Crown a little bit, but Yani Yani getting in the winner's circle. Never thought
They had
that
some
was
great,
gonna
they had great
happen.
hats off to them. Their content around it was great, kind of like showing off like the whole after the event and
They did do
after
a
the
good
event
job.
concluded and like in the clubhouse, it's like all these Taiwanese players was like crying in the clubhouse. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like a cool scene.
Yeah. Hero, I mean, obviously hero over there. Youngest to ever win 5 majors. Like there's
Yeah.
just stuff that yeah. I mean, you talk about Lydia and Michelle and all these other big names. Like Yani was who was going to be the next Annika, the next Kari, and she was.
Well, she
And
kind of
then
was. She was number
and
one
then she
player in the world
wasn't.
there for a second.
Yeah. So congrats, Yanni. I hope you're enjoying that win and relishing in it because,
I'm
man,
sure she
you
had
deserve
some,
it.
there was some beer drank or something drank that night. I
Good
feel
for
like
her.
She was not scared of one.
Good for her. What else from the week in general? We talked about Craig making the trip to Korea. Beth Ann, check out her article about that. I think she brings up some good points of just the importance of Asia and being successful there, kind of, driving a lot of the LPGA's success as a whole.
Good Charlie Hull interview. We talked to that with
The
her.
Charlie Hull, yeah, that's a great read. Makes time for that. Beth Ann was kind of firing out in
That's
Korea.
why you had to have someone over there covering the event. It's kind of like if she wasn't there, like even like Maya's quotes about how her positions were like kind of going her struggles after Erin Hills, like going into that and her presser was kind of a big deal and how Lydia reacted to it, and she kind of wrote a good bit about that. I would say go read that as well. Just go.
I love that
Golfweek
moment of Maya kind of unloading kind of how this summer has been a real struggle for her, and Lydia like nodding along and then jumping in herself. And how cool for Maya to have a Lydia say like, yeah, I've been there, like it happens. And I hope to see Maya back at the top of some leaderboards because I think that was weighed very heavy on her this summer. You could see that from her comments.
Just go hang out with Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. I like to just do a quick segment on things Nelly Korda did instead of playing in the International Crown.
Maybe you should just like put Instagram away for the week. Maybe you should just not post anything this week.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Injury or not, bogus or not, go dark. Go dark. That is some bad like social media strategy. Nelly Korda took a sunset cruise. Nelly Korda got her nails done. Nelly Korda got a makeup tutorial. Nelly Korda drank out of a spooky season mug. Nelly Korda was just doing her thing.
I'm glad you were taking notes on this. I think I saw the nails one and I was like, oh man, that's a choice. That's a choice.
Like more posting than usual. It's like stop.
I really want like seeing how progressive and how well the US are playing. It's like I really want US to win this just to like maybe they were pissed. They was like, hey, Nelly didn't want to be here. F that. We're gonna go win this. So she's not here.
Perhaps.
But hey.
That concludes things Nelly Korda did instead of playing the International Crown. Quick segment there for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's land this plane. We're off to Maybank. Take us to Kuala Lumpur, Matthew.
Yeah, we're going to the Maybank Championship. It's at the Kuala Lumpur Golf and Country Club, the West Course, formerly known as the TPC Kuala Lumpur. Place has been like 3 different names. This is where, if it sounds familiar to you, this is exactly where the CIMB used to be played on the PGA Tour. The West Course there, where Justin Thomas won like 7 times. It's funny, they have 2 golf courses there. The old, I forget, it was the old Sime Derby Classic is what the old LPGA event used to be called there on the East Course at the Kuala Lumpur Country Club. But now we are playing the West Course, which is kind of like,
okay.
They're both in and of the same. They're both it's a very, very good club. The conditions are very great. This architect is Nelson Hawthorne, did it in 1991, redesigned by Parslow Winter. They like their pairs of architects over there. In 2008, 6,500 yards, par 72. Big purse, that $3 million. I think Maybank's kind of stepping up. They're obviously a big, conglomerate over there in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So it's kind of like they've had a Maybank Championship over there for years. Kind of like it's really cool. You go in the clubhouse and they have like, Andy would love it. It's like a Lee Westwood shrine in this place because he used to win this Maybank Championship every year. There's like these Lee Westwood pictures everywhere in this clubhouse.
That's so good. That's so good.
This is also like, I've had some fun memories of this place. It's kind of like they would have that CIMB Classic every year, kind of around the same time in the fall for the men on the PGA Tour, and they would play the West course, the ladies were on the East, and then their range for the men was like on the like one of the par 4 tees on the East course. And there was one year as a rain delay, and all these players went out, and the range tee's kind of small, and the men just like threw their golf balls on the back edges of greens and started hitting golf balls, like ripping divots off of like 2 feet off the green, like 2 weeks before like the ladies were going there. And it was like a big hullabaloo, and like all the girls were all pissed off about it. And I think me and Solly and Nolan up got in a fight on Twitter over it. He's like, "Oh, the girls are just gonna play it up." Like I was like, "Buddy, we've been going here for 3 years and we never played it up.
Yeah.
This isn't the PGA Tour."
No. Nope.
But it's cool they get on the big golf course in the West and they get to use that old range. They're actually like, because the actual site has this range and it's like this artificial turf thing. You got to use these limited flight balls. I actually saw one of the biggest power moves of all time from Suzanne Pedersen, who didn't want to hit the limited flight balls, went on the other golf course, just took her own golf balls and hit them down the fairway.
Like her own, like not range balls, just her own balls.
Yeah, her own golf balls. She didn't want to hit these limited flight balls. She's like, I'm just getting my own golf balls down this range. Down the fairway, this other hole. That wasn't on her golf course. Yeah, just did whatever the hell she wanted to. And everyone's just like, "Can you do that? Could you do that?" She's like, "I don't give a shit. I'm doing it."
I'm going to. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good event. Defending champion. We have Ronan Yin won this last year. Kind of went off running 23 under. It's kind of usually how that goes at this place.
Ronnie was on a heater.
This is the place I remember seeing Shan shoot like 30 under. Would fall asleep every afternoon and a rain delay nap and just wake up and go make like 6 birdies. And you're just like, how the hell do you do this? Cool field. I think a lot of the players from International Crown are kind of sliding over to Kuala Lumpur.
That's great.
It's not a short flight. I remember the first time going to Asia, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to Asia, going to Malaysia." It's just kind of like once you get over there, it's fine. You take like a 16-hour flight, 12-hour flight to Tokyo. And I was like, "Oh, how long is this flight to Kuala Lumpur?" "Oh, it's another 8 hours." Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Great.
Yeah. So it's like a 6-hour flight from Seoul. But good field. Mirabelle Ting's playing this week. Kind of cool. I think she's kind of Malaysian descent. She's a sponsor invite this week. A lot of other sponsor invites are a bunch of Malaysian-based players that I could not tell you their names. Some amateurs, some pros. Kelly Tan. She's a famous Malaysian player.
Yep.
Longtime LPGA player. You got Gino, Miyu Yamashita, Ryo Takeda, Angel Yin, Somi Lee, Aki Iwais.
Great.
Alem Kim. Lydia's playing, Andrea Lee. So it's kind of like, it's a good little field. So hopefully we'll see some good golf being played. Lindy Duncan's had a couple top 10s to see if she can keep her streak going. So I think it's going to be a great watch.
Coming off a week off and exploring Asia and doing some sightseeing and stuff. So it stayed over there, took a week off, got a break, and then coming into Malaysia this week. Lottie's in the field too, right?
Yeah, Lottie's there. She played the Taiwan thing.
I know.
So I was shocked to see her playing.
Yeah.
TV times, I'm going to say this now, likely to change. It usually kind of Golf Channel throws these rugs at us with these Asian deals. It says 9:30 to 2:30 a.m., which is a big window.
That is a big window.
Eastern time. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Okay.
But they'll probably replay it. Set your DVRs and watch the replay the next day. I kind of like this Wednesday through Saturday deal, and you kind of just watch the final round. Just don't look at your phones or see who won. But it should be a good watch. I think it's we're coming to the end of the Asian swing here, and it's a good event to kind of a pillar of the Asian swing. I think kind of the big purse. So I think all the big players are showing up for this one.
That's great. Cocktail golf continues. Our marathon of cocktail golf rolls on.
We need a shirt for that.
Yeah, it's I would love to see Ronnie. I mean, she was kind of, like I said, on a major heater. Didn't play. I mean, Team China didn't do much at all in the International Crown. Would love to see her maybe get some good vibes from being back here, where she won and show something, because it's been a quiet year for her. Gosh, I think that does it. That was a jam-packed week and episode. But really, again, thanks to Beth Ann. Loved hearing from her. Always fantastic insight. Thanks, as always, to Will Balsam for producing and editing the episode. That's it for International Crown. Matthew, on to Malaysia. But that was a fun one. I enjoyed International Crown. Team match play never disappoints. Even if there's things that can improve, it was a fun week for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a highlight of the week.
Yes. All right. Get through Halloween safely.
Yeah, survive Halloween.
All right.
Enjoy all the candy. See ya.
Yep. See ya.